Patrick McNair, and I'm your host of This Is Real. This is Raleigh. Welcome. This episode of This Is Real, This is Raleigh. My name is Patrick McNair, and I'm your host. And today we're joined by special guest, James Fontana. Welcome, James.
Thanks for having me.
Great. So, James, I know you don't know a lot about this show as far as what we're going to talk about today. But the premise of the show, I want to hear about your perspective, what you do, where you come from, and why you're here in Raleigh. So let's dig in. So James, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a native New Yorker.
Okay.
Just like a lot of people that are coming down here, I feel like.
New York.
Yeah. Born in Staten Island.
Okay.
Home of the Wu-Tang Clan.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Wu-Tang.
So yeah, I'm about to be 31 next month. So still pretty young, I guess. And I moved here about 3 years ago. I moved here late March, 3 years ago.
Now, James, 3 years ago, what brought you to North Carolina 3 years ago? Because that was during the pandemic, or when the pandemic was just to get ready. Well, actually, it was 2021.
Right.
Okay, so the pandemic was still kind of out there and affecting people. But what brought you to North Carolina?
It's a really good question. My immediate family moved here in 2018.
Okay.
So I'll never forget when my dad took us out to dinner. I'm one of four. I'm the oldest. And he was like, I think we're going to move.
Okay.
And I was like, they're not. You know, like, our life's here. Everyone's here. Like, we're not moving. We're in New York City. He's like, yeah, no, like, I'm pretty sure we're going to move to Raleigh. And I didn't know anything about Raleigh. I knew that he was doing business there because he was in real estate. And, you know, they ended up moving, and it was like a Band-Aid being ripped off. You know, I come from an Italian household. You know, my mom, you know, cooked, cleaned, did everything. And then I had to become a man real quick.
Yeah.
So I stayed in New York because I was like, you know, I had a job in Manhattan, and I had a girlfriend at the time, and I had all my friends there, and I was like, I'm not leaving. You know, this is where I gotta be.
Yeah.
But you know, long story short, it was just a chain of events. I've been saving money since I started working at 17 to buy property. That was my goal that I had in mind, and I was quickly realizing, and my dad kept telling me, because he was in real estate, he's like, you're really not gonna find anything
In here. Yeah.
at least in Staten Island. You're gonna have to go to Jersey, and then, you know, why would you go to Jersey when you can go here? It's warmer, it's cheaper.
Yeah.
And I just kept, you know, pushing it away. And then, you know, just not to go into specifics, but just like, you know, the political climate, almost the anti-business climate that New York was going into, all the taxations, regulations. I kept hearing good things about Raleigh from my parents. Obviously, they wanted me to move here. And I was being stubborn, and I visited during the pandemic, and even though we couldn't really go anywhere, I was still able to kind of see what life was like down here.
Mm-hmm.
And I really liked it. You know, my brother was here, he had his own apartment, and I got to meet his friends, and they seemed like nice people, and then I would visit, and we would go out downtown, and it was just, it was different. I felt like it was what I was wanting to do, but I was afraid to move.
Yeah.
I was afraid. So it was just one thing after the next kept compiling, and then after a while I had a breakup, and then that was the final straw, and I was like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Like, let me go somewhere fresh, start new. I'm in my late 20s, single again. Let me just start fresh somewhere else. If I don't like it, I can always move back to New York.
Right.
Safe to say that didn't happen. I'm still here, and I love it.
Yeah. Okay. So, safe to say, just like you said, you know, it kind of grew on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like it's got its claws on you, and you're hooked, right?
Yeah.
A lot different climate, both politically and, you know, environmentally, from what you're used to. When you did your initial research on Raleigh, you know, after your dad said, hey, you know, this is a nice place, et cetera, what were some of the things that you were looking forward to, experiencing?
Yeah, I think you know, growing up in New York, Staten Island, you're just kind of hardwired that, like, you're not going anywhere. Like, this is where people make it, right? New York City, Manhattan. Like, why would you want to leave? But especially as of late, you know, so many people from where I'm from are moving here or somewhere else. But mainly, I meet so many New Jerseyans, New Yorkers, Connecticut people here, because I was more looking for like a change of pace of different lifestyle. Like New York is so crowded, congested. The people are a little bit different. Like I noticed when I was here that people were just nicer. And I know people hear that all the time. Oh well, but like it's true. Like you go to the grocery store and people like, oh, how are you doing? Hey, sir, how you doing? Like, have a nice day. Make conversation with you, and that's not what I was really used to. And I was looking forward to that. I was looking forward to meeting new people, different types of people, people that were from here or people that were from anywhere.
Anywhere, yeah.
I like people. I like meeting people and learning about backgrounds, and also just like seeing what it's like to live in a mini city. I call Raleigh because it's not really a big city. Because I had done New York. I didn't live in Manhattan, but I worked there. I went out there, and it's fun. It's fun. But I was like, I think I'm ready for something a little bit different. But the main thing was I wanted to buy property.
Yeah.
And I was eager to do that. I moved in with my parents, and me and my dad would go out and we would aggressively look at places, and in Raleigh and in Cary, and eventually I settled downtown, and it was the perfect fit for me. I was like, wow, I can actually afford a beautiful 1-bedroom condo downtown Raleigh where all the action is. Yeah. I can afford that, and it's mine, and I'm in the action. I can just go out, walk places, and it's been a lot of fun.
Okay. All right. So, James, tell me about, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing here? Like your vocation, what's your passion?
My passion is, besides sports,
Yeah.
I haven't found a way to make money off that yet. But besides that, my passion is really just people, getting to know what makes people tick, and also helping people, which is what I'm in my business, what I do.
In that business?
Marketing, advertising, and what's cool about what I'm doing now is that it's locally focused.
Okay.
So I'm strictly gearing towards helping people in the triangle, right? That the entire triangle, Raleigh being the main hub, and then outwards as it's growing like rapidly over here. Now that Raleigh's kind of full up, Cary's full, and now we're going outside.
Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of get in there because I'm like, so many people are moving here, so many businesses are popping up, so many apartment complexes are popping up. Even by me over here, there's new construction constantly. So this is a perfect opportunity for me to help local businesses, support local businesses, and help them get their name out there in a booming little economy we have here. So that's kind of what I'm passionate about. I love meeting new people, and that's why I was eager to meet you and do this, because that's what I think is all about. And any way that we can, as fellow Americans and fellow citizens, help each other out, because life is hard.
Life is hard.
And especially, small businesses. Now that I own one, I'm understanding,
the struggle.
The struggle.
The struggle is real.
And people think that, oh, you own a business, you must be rich.
Yeah.
Right? No.
That means I work.
Right. Yeah. You work a lot.
Yeah.
But it's been fulfilling because, I'm no longer working for the man, right? I'm working for myself.
Yeah. I am the man.
I am the man, right?
Yeah.
So it's more fulfilling, and that's what kind of is driving me now.
So back up a little bit. You said you're in marketing, digital marketing.
Yeah.
And what does that mean to a small business? So, our audience at home or abroad, and they hear you come up, they light up because, hey, I'm a business owner. I need this guy. But what can you do for them?
Right. So what I say to people is a lot of small businesses I talk to, they kind of get almost scared because they're like, I need this, but like it's going to cost me too much money and I can't afford it.
Right.
So what I say is like, I'm a full-fledged marketing firm. There is a solution for you, and there's a no one-size-fits-all. So what makes me unique here is my indoor digital billboards. It's a very affordable way and a very effective way to get your name out there.
Okay.
That can really cater to pretty much any business. I mean, obviously there's going to be some people that don't have any money to spare, but I can pretty much work with almost anybody. This one girl who opened up a chiropractor office, she was like, listen, I can't do X amount per month. And I was like, well, listen, let's start small here, in a prime location that's down the block from you. You're going to get seen so many times. We'll start here, and once you kind of start ramping up your business, and once you see what success you're getting and that traction, the recognition, we can talk about getting you on more places and more exposure. So there's a lot of opportunity for me to work with really almost anybody.
So indoor digital billboards.
Yeah.
Okay. So give me an example of a winner, a success story from one of your clients.
A success story. Well, I'm just starting out, so most of my time has been spent getting locations or host partners. But I will say, you know, we did a website for this guy that I met at a Apex Chamber event. He has a self-defense company, family self-defense, and him and his wife came up with me after I kind of spoke, and they were like, "We need to talk because I don't know what I'm doing with marketing. I don't have a clue." So I told him about my billboards and how we can get them on a couple of locations and that are around the area, and he was like, "That sounds great, and that's a price point that I can afford."
Okay.
So we got him on there, and then I said, "Well, look at your website. Doesn't look too great."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, man, I don't know what I'm doing." So I have my friend here who helps with website design. Made a great website for him, nice and simple, affordable, and he loved it.
Yeah.
Nothing but good things to say. And I'm hoping that we'll continue to work together, and you know, he'll be able to be seen in more places as his business grows. So that's definitely one success story that I've had so far, and I'm looking forward to many, many more.
Yeah. One thing about business, in my experience, is as a business owner, you like feedback, but you like positive feedback, but you really love honest feedback, right? And so to have that, let me be honest with you, as a lead in, that pays dividends. And that means that they can trust you in your opinion.
Right.
It's like, hey, you got a website, but it's not a great website. You know what I'm saying? So, but people pay for that familiarity, that trust, when they enter into a relationship with business owners or other businesses. So yeah, I can see where that works. When it comes to your time here in Raleigh, what are you enjoying about it since you've been here?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Really a lot of things. When I first moved here, the biggest thing, like I said, was buying my own place. And I was able to do that, and I love my place. I still live there. I'll be sad when I have to leave it. But that's my biggest accomplishment in life thus far, honestly, is buying my first property. And hopefully in the future I'll become an entrepreneur and buy more properties, investment properties. But that's what I really enjoyed. And getting to, me and my brother, we live, close by, and we were able to build new friendships here. So I've been able to make a lot of good friends, and then two of my cousins moved here, and then my cousin ended up meeting a guy that we went out with, and now they're married, and he's a great guy, and me and my brother are great friends with him. So I've been really, I honestly, I didn't expect to make such good friends moving here, because I have such a good core group of friends in New York who I still talk to almost every day. But I moved here, I'm like, I got my friends at home. Like, if I can make a couple of friends here, But I've been able to meet some really nice people.
Yeah. So one of your friends in New York going to move down here?
I mean, I thought that one of my friends who's getting married was going to move here because his girlfriend went to school, or fiance went to school here, High Point, I think.
Okay.
And he's been like dragging his feet. I'm like, dude, what are you doing in Queens still? Come down here. And but it's difficult. Like, I had it easier because we're all family oriented, all me and my friends, and my parents being here it kind of sucked, like being away. Like, I love the independence, but that was definitely a draw to come here, because to be closer to them, and all my siblings were here, and then my grandma moved here, and then my cousins moved here. I'm like, what am I doing?
So now you got Sunday dinners again, the big the big feast, right? The big feast, right?
But I'll end it with this: the most important thing, honestly, that I'm really happy about coming here is I met my girlfriend. I've been dating her for over a year and a half, and I love her. She's the best girl I've ever been with, better than anything I've ever had in New York. Okay. And that was what I was really, really hoping for: a new, fresh beginning, new crop of women, I guess.
Gotcha.
And she's been awesome. She's been my rock, through this whole process of starting my own company. You know, it's tough to tell your girlfriend that you've been dating for a couple months, like, hey, like,
I ain't got no job.
yeah, I got laid off. To
I'm
be
working on
quite
this.
frank,
Yeah.
I had a corporate job. I got laid off, and then I was for months just trying to figure out what am I going to do. I was applying, and then I have this new venture, and obviously with the new business, there's obviously those growing pains that
Yeah.
I'm still going through.
Yeah.
But it's she's been awesome. So it's I've been really blessed moving here. Like I said, every time I go back to New York now, I'm almost like, man, I can't wait to go back to Raleigh.
There you go. There you go. When you talk about you grew up in New York, right? You
Yeah.
had everything there in Staten Island or Manhattan where you were working. When it comes to the things that New York has that Raleigh doesn't, right? What could Raleigh use more of, right?
I know the answer to this question.
Go ahead.
What we need here
Okay.
is an actual deli.
Oh, deli. Okay. All right. So that's the
Multiple,
first. Okay.
honestly, because that's what I really miss.
Okay.
That's really the only thing I miss besides my friends and my family. I miss the food there. But we are getting better here. There is Oakwood Pizza Box not too far from here. Really, really good pizza.
Okay.
The best I've had in the area. There's a few other spots that are okay, but definitely like, and there's a few spots that are like deli-esque. Like Brookside Bodega over here in Raleigh is really good. They got good sandwiches. They have a great chopped cheese that is famously from the Bronx.
Okay.
But yeah, sometimes I'm talking about my girlfriend. I'm like, where can I get just like a chicken cutlet sandwich? Like a big chicken cutlet sandwich with like lettuce, tomato, onions, mayo. Not really many places that do it. And that's what I miss that
So,
I wish we had here. And I feel like we should because we're getting more people here.
And that's the thing, as an entrepreneur, as a serial entrepreneur, just like we talked
I
about
thought
earlier,
about that.
Somebody needs to, somebody in the land,
know.
hey, come on out, start one up. Got a digital marketer here. He's going to be all pumping up for you, making sure you're successful.
And even a pizzeria too. If someone from up north wants to come down here and make some bomb pizza,
yeah,
we definitely could use some more spots. But besides food, I guess, what could we take? I mean, honestly, not much. Like I honestly, I moved away from New York to get away from a lot of the negatives that came with so many people and
the
congestion and traffic. And now we're starting to get more traffic here and people are complaining about it. And I'm just like,
say nothing.
Say nothing.
Yeah.
But I know how it goes. As
Yeah.
more people come, it's going to get more crowded. But I guess whoever's in charge of the city and the highways, just make sure you don't mess that up. Because in New York, they try to like add a lane and then they cut off the lane and it causes bottlenecks.
Yeah.
So whoever's in charge of the roads, don't mess it up.
Yeah. When it comes to your experiences here in Raleigh, a lot of great things so far.
Yeah.
It sounds like Raleigh worked for you.
Yeah.
A word of encouragement that you may have for those people who may be thinking about, maybe have thought about, maybe you're twisting their arm trying to bring them down. What would you say to them when they consider it might not even be Raleigh, it might be anywhere in this area.
Sure.
It's different. It's a different walk of life. It's a different way of life. It's just different being here. But what would be some of your words of encouragement for them if they're thinking about something like that? Relocating, hey, I got a business here. Why would I do that? Or, hey, I got a family here. Why would I do that? What are some of the benefits or some of the, like I said, words of encouragement that you would say to them?
Well, I would share an example. Like I told you, two of my cousins moved down. Then their older sister just recently moved her entire family to Holly Springs. She lived in Queens.
Okay.
Got a beautiful house in Holly Springs. And, their house in Queens wasn't bad, but, their house now is so much better. It's so much bigger, nicer, newer.
Yeah.
And they have 2 little kids.
Okay.
So my advice would be, like, even if you're married and you have a kid or 2, if they're young, that's the perfect opportunity. But even if you don't have kids, that's a great example because she has a family. She had a foundation there. And, kind of the same thing, just things kept going and they were just like, you know what, like, screw this. Like, let's just go down south. The other 2 were down here and they were finding success and happiness and, they're loving it thus far. So I would say, keep an open mind, truly keep an open mind and don't let fear get in the way. Because I almost did. I almost let fear get in the way of the best thing that could ever happen. I mean, I met the girl that I wanted to meet. Bought my own property. I made new friends here, which is awesome. Closer to my family and less stressed.
Mhm.
That's the main thing that we can all relate to, I think,
Better
is
quality of life.
yeah, less stress, less property tax.
Yeah, yeah,
you know, people are nicer,
yeah.
and I think it really goes a long way, and it's really helped with like mental health. Obviously, there's obviously lots of other extra things that happen, but those are my words for advice: is don't let fear control you. Think outside the box, and you really gotta think like, this is my life, this is my happiness, and if I feel that I can be less stressed, happier, wealthier, somewhere else in the country,
Go for it.
take a shot, especially if you're young.
Yep, go for it. In New York, I imagine there's a lot of homeless individuals.
Hmm.
They've found the other side of life where it's not so rosy, not so nice. We have those issues here. All over the country where I've been, there are pockets of homelessness wherever I go. It doesn't matter
Yes.
if it's Oklahoma or California or Texas or Colorado. It doesn't matter.
Hmm.
In your experience or your observations, let me get some feedback on you. Contrast New York's homeless situation to the way it is here in Raleigh.
I mean, it's night and day. It doesn't even really compare. The homeless problem in New York is an epidemic.
Yeah.
The only place worse is California. California is on a league of its own, but New York is it's terrible. I mean, there's homeless people rampant on the subway platforms. It's getting increasingly not safe again. Like my parents were like, I remember in the 70s when I was growing up, like it was dangerous in New York, and then they ended up cleaning it up, and it became better, and now it's kind of regressing again. It's getting worse, and there's lots of public urination and feces everywhere, and drugs and needles, and people mentally unwell people just screaming and causing havoc in public and in the subway stations the subway stations are packed with people that have to go to work and go home, and there's a constant threat and then uneasiness. I have buddies of mine that still work in Manhattan, and they're just like, but I'm, as a New Yorker, almost desensitized to it. So whenever I'm walking with my girlfriend or friends over here and we see a homeless person, they're like, almost like, I just walk like no one's even there almost. It's sad to say, but it's like, if you engage, then something can happen bad. So I don't pay it any mind, but I did notice that in Raleigh, when I moved here, it's a little bit worse, but it's still, I mean, I would go downtown and be like, wow, this is beautiful. Like, there's no one like hanging around. If there is, it's like one person. Like, who cares? But in New York, it's every corner.
Yeah.
So it's really an epidemic, and I'm not gonna say that I know the answers to it, but it's definitely a huge issue.
It's tough because, we're humans,
Yeah.
right? And humans, you should have a caring bone in your body for your fellow man. But it's a tough situation. Just I don't have the answer either.
Yeah.
But it is a situation that is going to continue to impact us until someone does come up with a solution. And in my opinion, I think it's going to be a multi-layered approach to it.
Has to be.
I mean, there's not just one silver bullet that's going to solve the problem and put everybody in a home.
Right.
Some people don't want to be in a home.
No.
Some people don't want the responsibility. And some people they just can't handle it.
Yeah.
Right. So what do you do with them? So it's got to be a multi-level approach to fixing something like that, because we have a great place to live.
Yeah.
And we want to keep it that way.
Right.
But we also have to look out for our fellow neighbors who might not have a hat to hang something on, but we got to figure it out.
I think it really comes down to we're in a mental health crisis as a country. That's what I truly believe. And again, that's also multi-layered, but because a lot of people that are homeless, drug problems or just mentally unwell, and like you said, they might not be able to function normally, or or pay their bills, or be in a home, and be a functioning member of society. So how do you rehabilitate that? At a meeting I had today, there's a woman that was speaking about, she works with autistic children and kids with issues, and she was saying that even like in North Carolina, sometimes to get like a care person for that person, it could take like a year or plus. So that's an issue, because there's people that are in need and there's not enough people to help them. I'm not licensed to do so, but you're right. It's tough, because I'm a very like empathetic person. It breaks my heart to see this stuff, but you also got to protect yourself.
You gotta look out for yourself.
Look out for yourself.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there is no magic bullet, as you said. It's definitely multi-layered, but I think it definitely boils down to mental health and getting people right. And I feel like around the country, a lot of people are struggling, even everyday people.
Is that the function of the government, to improve the mental health of society? Or is that, where does that come from? Do we want to elect people and put them in charge of making us happy? See, I mean, so that's...
It should be on you, right?
It should be.
Yeah.
But if you can't help yourself, then what? If you didn't have the family to teach you or to educate you on how to do certain things, then who is it? The church? Is it a nonprofit? Is it a government entity? Is it a medical professional field? Right? So what?
It could be a combination.
It has to be.
When you get into the whole religion thing, I mean, everybody has their own opinions. I personally, have faith, and, I grew up a Catholic, and I still, I don't actively go to church, I'm not gonna pretend like I do, but I still, have my beliefs, and I still pray and all that good stuff, and I'm comfortable in that. I do think that it does, it should be a positive. People try and weaponize it, though, which sucks. But it should be a positive for people to lean on when times are tough. And they can do that by themselves. They can be in their room or anywhere they are and just look at the sky and talk and vent. But also, getting good professionals that want to be psychiatrists, that want to be therapists, that want to do that kind of stuff. I mean, I even see, there's now apps like BetterHelp that make it easier to people to get help. Which is great, but like you said, once you start getting the government involved and whatnot, I think the government is having too much control, and that's why I wanted to get out of New York. And it's only gotten worse since I left. It's crazy, but I feel like the less they are on our throats, the better. What they can do to help is, developing parks and recreational places for people to gather and play and bring their families. I told you earlier, I'm big on sports.
Yeah.
I grew up playing sports. My dad was like, "You're playing something," and baseball was my thing. It still is my thing. Football, basketball. I played anything when I was little. My friends, like, I would just go to the park and just play. And I feel like nowadays people are stuck on their computers and their laptops. Yeah. It's not like an old man, but I talk about it all the time now, because I don't know if you have kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to have kids, and I'm like talking to my friends that are also in the same situation. I'm like, what are you gonna do if your kid's an iPad kid?
Well, that's your choice,
right? And I'm like, I told myself, and my girlfriend's on the same page. I'm like, but she's like, well, what if we can't stop it? And I was like, I think we can.
You can stop it.
Yeah, it's
you're
choice.
The parent,
right?
I mean, it's your decision. I saw a kid today being pushed in a stroller with these goggles on and an iPad, and you just kill. I mean, do you want ADHD for your kid? Because they don't know how to self-soothe.
Right.
Their soothing is that iPad. And as soon as that iPad loses its charge, they're going crazy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So don't do that. Kid, don't do it. Don't do it. Take the iPad away.
I hate seeing it in public too, and because I just remember because I'm part of a unique generation, I guess, because I'm 30 and I grew up where I didn't have cell phones really. I mean, kids started getting cell phones in middle school, I think, but they were like, we didn't have smartphones. It was just like, call. which is great. But you know, we would just hang out with our friends. I would call the house phone of my friend to go see if they want to hang out.
House phone. What's that?
Right? Yeah. So, but then it was unique because then I was able to grow through the emergence of Facebook and Instagram and smartphones and iPhones and all the stuff that we have now. So I'm like, I remember how it was when I grew up, and I look at how it is now, and I feel sad for these kids. And I'm like, you guys don't understand what it's like to just wake up on a Saturday morning and, you know, go tell your brother, like, hey, let's go outside and go dig in the backyard. Or let's go play basketball at the park. Or let's go play a board game or build something or play a video game together. Video games are fine, but in moderation. Like, now it's just, like, constant. And then, like, the iPad, like, all these games, I'm like, I mean, but parents, like, they just don't want to deal with it anymore. And you know, I feel really strongly about that too. Like, parenting is also a huge, huge issue. The family should be really, really important. I feel like the government and everybody's making it seem like, divorce is great, everything is great, single moms, single dads, it's all good. No, it's not. It's causing all these problems, and that's why, you know, there is more homeless and there's more mental issues and ADHD and crime, and it's like it all comes back to that. I feel like, because I grew up in thank God willing, you know, a nice household. I mean, we didn't have a ton of money, but we were middle class, and you know, I had a nice upbringing and had family, and my parents just prioritized that. And even with video games and cell phones, I didn't get my first cell phone until I was in high school. Didn't have text messaging; it was just phone calls.
Yeah.
I'd call my mom, say, "Hey, come pick me up," or "Hey, I'm here." But I do think that we've strayed away from just appreciating the beauty of life. And like you said, someone on a stroller. I mean, you're outside. It's a beautiful day. Enjoy.
Yeah, it was
enjoy
bad.
the life that you're living.
I don't think that kid was 2 years old. Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
So real quick, you said, you know, baseball was your thing.
Yeah.
So there was a rumor that Raleigh was trying to get a Major League Baseball team.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so you might want to look up that. You know, they were, you know, Major League Baseball is talking about expansion. Have you ever been to the Durham Bulls?
Yes.
Okay. You like that?
I do. I love baseball. I'll go to any game,
Okay.
even if it's like single A.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. A lot of stuff to do around here.
Yeah.
Hey, as we wrap up today, first I want to make sure that I say I appreciate your time. You know,
Appreciate you having me.
time is a major commodity. It's our most important commodity that we have. There's plenty of things that you could have done today except be sitting here on This Is Real, This Is Raleigh, you know, the podcast. So I want to make sure I acknowledge that. But two, I want to make sure people can reach out to you to either benefit from your business or you
Yes.
can sow seed into their business. So how can people reach you?
Well, I have a Instagram page. My company is Visual Velocity Media. Also website, visualvelocitymedia.com. I have my phone number is everywhere. It's on my Google listing. It's on my Instagram, my website, everything, and my email as well. It's just james@visualvelocitymedia.com. I am open to really talking to anybody. You know, I'm in that. I really don't hard sell people. I really want to get to know you. I want to get to know your business. I want to get to know what your problems are, what you're looking to accomplish, and then I'll develop a solution for you. Obviously, I'm very passionate about what I do and the value that it brings, so I'm going to speak enthusiastically and try and sell you. But ultimately, you know, I want something that's going to work for you. Again, looking for people that are, you know, locally owned, operated within the triangle. That is what my focus is. Local is my focus. That's one of my slogans. And that's what I'm looking to do. So it's been exciting because normally I was stuck behind a computer, and now I'm actually doing outside sales, meeting people, and meeting this community that I have grown to love and living in and plan on living here for a while. So,
All right.
yeah.
All right. Well, James, it's been a pleasure. And my audience, make sure you like, subscribe, and share this episode and others. And until next time, this is Real. This is Raleigh. All right. Go stop this.